Okay, good evening. Go ahead. You can read the question and let's see what we are going to achieve from it. Let's go.
Okay, Okon Engineering Limited is experiencing trouble with its suppliers. The firm produces a variety of valves requiring the complex bolting components and especially imported high-grade steel. The standard cost of card for the types of valve produced are as follow. Valve type A, B, C, D. Okay, now say the big cost as a steel, bought in labor, direct labor, variation production cost, fixed production cost, selling and administration and admin cost, and profit, selling profit. So all the selling and administration costs are fixed, and the same single component is used for each for the four products. Direct cost is for their standard hour, and each member of the workforce is capable of producing any of the above. Okon major customer has order 30A, 30B, 30A, 30C, 20B, and 20D valve for the coming month. For the coming month, despite the firm difficulties, it is felt that those must be supplied to ensure future business. It is thought that this further represents some 10% of total demand for each type of valve required. Determine the optimal product mix and resulting profit per profit, and in total in the coming months of only 400 bought-in components are likely to be available. Two, calculate and interpret the shadow price of the bought-in component. Three, now assume that in addition to the 400 units in bracket A, bracket I, example above, a new supplier is willing to supply 200 units of the bought-in component at a premium. Calculate the maximum premium the company will be willing to pay per unit of the extra supply. Number four, refer back to A bracket, I bracket above. Calculate the opportunity cost of meeting the order of the major customers. B, now assume that all products should be subcontract as a per unit cost of 475 naira, 75 naira, 380 naira, and 64 naira for A, B, and C, and the respectively. Labour cost is limited to 4,250 hours, but the major customer consists that the special order is completed by Okon and not subcontract. Calculate the revised optimal production plan. Okay,
Okay, thank you.
the company is
So,
prepared. Okay.
no, 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 no. That one is question five. That one is question five. Thank
Okay.
you. So you can mute yourself, then let's analyze everything, then we go ahead. If you remember, when we started this class, based on the topic itself, decision making with single limiting factor, I explained that we have series of things that can cause a limiting factor, and the number one of it is that I said sales can also cause your limiting factor. And not only that, I said what's it called, labor can also cause your what, the constraint or the limiting factor. And also I mentioned materials. I also mentioned the manufacturing capacity, if you remember. And I say whenever you are given this kind of question, and the first thing to do is that you have to calculate your contribution. After getting your contribution, you test for what's it called, contribution per limiting factor. Then after that, you look for the you have to rank. Then when you rank, you now allocate your available resources. The available resources. Are we there?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And
Yes.
Yeah, I'm
remember,
with you, sir.
if you remember, I said to get contribution, I said contribution per unit will be equal to the selling price minus variable cost variable cost per unit. That's what I explained. That if you want to get your contribution, you can use this as your what? As your formula to get contribution. And also, I explained further last week that my contribution can also be the profit plus fees cost, plus profit plus fees cost. I said I can also get my contribution towards that. It's not depend on the information given to us. If the information given to us entails profit and the fees cost, then we don't need to stress ourselves by looking for variable cost and selling price to get our contribution. So from this question, you discover that we are given the selling price, we are given the profit, we are given the fees cost as well. So if I want to go by the first one, I will say selling price. Then I have selling price for A. Then I will look for variable cost. So the variable cost that we have here, we have bought-in components, labor, we have variable production overhead. Are you getting it now? So, but I can also go by the second way, which is the profit. I have profit to be 35. Then I have fees cost. Fees cost is also fees production cost and the selling and administration cost. These are the two fees costs. Then that is how I can get my contribution. Are we together? Hello?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So therefore, let's say computation for contribution, which is
What?
that person should move, please. Which is I can say step one. Step one. So then we can analyze it by product A, product B, C, and D. So this is where I want everybody to participate now. So I've tried the first formula in our first class. Then let's try the second formula this time around. So what's going to be our profit for product A? What's our profit for product A?
35 mil. 35 mil. 35
5.
Product B,
Product B, 55.
55. Product
5.
C,
30.
30. Product D,
55.
55. Then fees cost. The fees cost for A comprises of fees production and they also selling and administration costs. These are fees costs in the question. 180 plus 145. Give us what?
180 plus 145 will give us 325.
325. Product B,
Plus 225. 465.
465. Product C,
270.
270. Product D,
485.
485. Then we cast the figure so by way of adding it so that we get our contribution. So what's the contribution for A? Contribution for A. Contribution for A.
360.
360. B.
520.
520. C.
300.
300.
D
540.
540. So this is our contribution. So when you have your contribution, hello, please, you can mute yourself. But if I want to ask question, or if I want to ask if I want to ask us to do anything, then you can unmute. So this is our contribution. And don't forget, I said after getting your contribution, you have to pin down your what? Your limiting factor. Your limiting factor. Are we together? I say you have to bring out your what? Your limiting factor. Limiting factor. And from this question, our limiting factor, we have to check what is going to be our limiting factor. And if you remember, your limiting factor are those things that can hinder or that will not make your operation to go smoothly. That's what they mean by the limiting factor. So if you read this question very well, we discover that it is the component that is served as our limiting factor. Because if you read it from here, they said all the selling and administration costs are fees, fine. And the same single component is used for each of the 4 products. Direct labor is paid 4 naira per standard hour, and each member of the workforce is capable of producing any of the valve. Ocon major customer has ordered this valve for the coming month despite the firm difficulties. Imagine when they say despite the firm difficulties, and when we are told that Ocon major customer, they have ordered for component A, component B, component C, component D, despite the what? Despite the fact that there's a what? Difficulties. So you know that the difficulties they are talking about, it is based on that component. Are we together? Hello?
Yeah,
Yes,
we are with you, sir. Yeah, we are with you, sir. We are with you, sir.
Are we all
I'm
agree that the component is our what? Our limiting factor? Okay, one person is asking that what's the topic. So who can answer that? Because for those of you that attended the first class, who can answer that, please? How many of us attend the first class? Hello?
Sir, the topic we are under is limiting factor, under single limiting factor.
That is decision making with a single limiting factor. We are under decision making, which is the optimal production mix. So now our limiting factor is what? Is the component is component. Then so our limiting factor that is component, then we can now talk about the unit of that limiting factor. So if you look at this place, we have 50, 50, 50, 50. This 50, it is not unit, but in component, it is what? 50 naira, because it's in naira. All the information given to us here is in what? In naira. But what are we going to determine the unit of that limiting factor? That limiting factor given to us. If you come here, we are told that the same single component, look at the statement, the same single component is used for each of the 4 products. If they mention single, what single means? Single means what? Hello?
One.
One. It means that they are using one component. So for each product, so our limiting factor is its component, but the unit they use is what? One. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Now, after that, if you remember, I said when you get your contribution, when you have your limiting factor, the next thing is to calculate your limiting factor, contribution per limiting factor. That is contribution divided by limiting factor. Then if you say contribution per limiting factor, what will you have? 360 divided by 1, we have 360. 520 divided by 1, we have 520. 300 divided by 1, we have 300. Then 540 divided by 1, we have 540. And after that, I say we are going to go to what? We have to rank it. Go by ranking. You are ranking it based on the highest. So which one is the highest here? Product D. Product D is the highest. Which is going to take the first? Which one is the second one?
B.
Product B.
Product B, we take the second. The third one is what?
A.
A. The third one is A. Okay. Then product B is what?
Fourth.
Product C,
First.
right?
Yes, sir.
C is taking fourth. Okay, good. Which one is the first one?
B.
So I want to arrange it. B is the second one, right?
Yes. Yes, sir.
This is the first.
Yes.
This is second, third, and this one has to be fourth. Are we good to go now?
Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
now we can now move to how we are going to allocate. After ranking it, you cannot think of what? Allocation. Now, so if we are to think of allocation, then so let's think of the allocation. We have product A already here, so I don't need to repeat the product. Then this is product B, product C, product D, and you are allocating it based on what? Based on their ranking. Are we good to go? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We are allocating
You are
it.
good to you are good to go, sir.
Okay, we are allocating it based on the ranking. Then we can now go to the question and see, because we have some information here that we need to understand it better before we now move to that ranking. Look at it. They said determine the optimal production mix and the resulting profit per product, and in total in the coming month if only 400 bought-in components are likely to be available. You can see that the component from here, you can see that component is your what? Is your limiting factor as well, because they said it is only 400 bought-in components that are likely to be what? Available. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
So it shows that it is only 400 that is available. Then out of this 400 that is available, we also told that Okon customer has ordered this. Please, if Please mute yourself. You can mute yourself. Then whenever I ask you to talk, you can unmute, please. It is only 400 that is what button components are likely to be available. Then you can see also here that button components is the limiting factor, and it is only 400 that's available. But here also we can see that Ocon major customers has ordered this valve for coming months. Imagine when somebody order for your product for coming month, especially this Ocon, that tells you that there is what you call a special order. What do I call it? Special order. Special order. Are we together? So that's special order. So when you count the special order here, A is what? A is 30. B is what? B is 20.
20.
C is what? C is 30.
30.
Then D is what?
20.
20. So everything is what? Total.
100.
100. So everything is 100 as total. So imagine that it is only 400. Look at that statement very well, so that you understand the concept. They said determine the optimal production mix and the resulting profit per product, and in total in the coming months. That coming month, they now said that coming month that they are talking about, it is only 400 button components are likely to be available. Then that coming month, it is when that Ocon customer now ordered for 100. That is special order. Out of the 400 product that will be available, one customer has ordered for 100, which is called special order for that coming month. Am I making sense?
Yes, sir.
Now, if you now say 400, are you getting now? 100 has gone because there's a special order. How many is what is the leftover?
300.
300. So that 300 that is left over now, that's what we are going to allocate. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Am I talking to one person?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. We are with you, sir.
What is the leftover? What is the
We are
leftover?
with you, sir. We are with you, sir.
What is the leftover that we are going to allocate now?
300.
300. Then we now come here and think of certain things. Despite the difficulties, I want you to understand this place very well. Despite the difficulties, it is said that this must be supplied to ensure future business. It is thought that this order represents this order that you are seeing here. This order that you are seeing here, please, I want you to take note. This order that you are seeing here, the continuity here, that it is thought that this order represents some 10% of the total demand for each of the valve. It means that this order that you see here, it is not 30. The demand, it is what? 300. Because they said 10% of the total demand that make this order. Am I making sense?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
I want you to understand this. This order they mention here, they are told that it is thought that this order represents some 10% of the total demand for each type of the valve. It means that there is a total demand before they now calculate 10% of it to the special order. So what is the total demand of A? That person should mute, please. That person should mute. Don't let me mute you here. That person should mute. If you know that where you are is noisy, you don't bother to unmute. So total order for A. Total order for A is how many units? Who can tell us that?
300.
300. Then 10% of it that now gave us 30 for special order.
30.
What of C?
300.
What of B?
200.
What of D?
200.
Okay, good. Now, it means that for A now, the total order for A, it is 300, right? And don't forget how many order that is left over that we want to allocate. Hello?
Yeah, we're with you, sir.
How many order is left over that I want to allocate?
300.
300. But we realize that A total order is self. A total order is self is 300.
Yes, sir.
What of B total order?
200.
What of C total order?
300.
What of D total order?
200.
Now, you know D total order is 200. But if you now go by ranking, which product we want to allocate first?
D.
D.
D, right?
Yes,
And
sir.
out of D, right? And
Yeah.
how many order is available?
300.
300. Yeah. 300 is available. Then out of that 300, D need to take how many?
200.
200. So from the 200 that D will take, there is 20 special order already. So the balance will now be what?
180.
100.
180. So then we have to allocate for product D. Product D first. Then we are giving product D 180. Because based on the ranking, we are giving product D 180. You know, don't forget, it is 200 that the total order for product D, but because it's the one that we need to give ranking for, we have to give him 200, but there's 20 special order already. So that is what we are trying to explain here. So this is the 180 that we give product D. So out of this now, what is the balance?
100. No, 280. 280 minus
No.
400.
The balance. I'm talking of the balance. You know, we have 100 special order, 180 now. So what's going to be the balance?
120.
120, because everything is 400, right? So
Yeah.
120 is the balance. Are you getting the logic? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Question.
No,
Yes,
sir.
Okay, go ahead, please.
I don't understand the explanation there, sir.
Which side?
You said the whole demand was 400.
No, not the
We are
whole
trying.
demand, the available. They mention it here in your requirement. Look at it here. 400 button components are likely to be available. Then out of that 400, there's a special order of 100. Remain 300. So 300 is what we need to allocate to all the products. Then if you want to allocate 300 to all the products, you need to allocate it based on the rank. The person that take the first rank, the highest rank is product D. Product D deserve the first ranking. Then the total demand for product D, it is 200, because the special order in product D is 20. But they said that 20, it is 10% of the total demand that give us 20. Then what is going to be total demand? If 10% can give you 20, what is the total demand? It is 200. Is it clear?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
So that 200 now, we need to, out of the 300 that remain after the special order, we need to allocate the whole 200 to D, but we cannot give D the whole 200 because there's 20 before. Then it remain 180 to make it 200 of that, what's it called? Of the total demand of D. Because there's a 20 of special order, then remain that 180. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So if it remains 180, then if you remain 180, if it is 180, then out of the available order, it is 400. We have 100, we have 180. The remaining balance will now be what? 120 to make it 400.
120.
So this 120 now, you now allocate this 120 to the next person. Which one is this? Hello?
Product
With you, sir.
So which
B.
one is the second rank? Okay, B is the second
B.
ranking. Then let's look at the total demand for B, because B special order of B is 20. Automatically 10% of 200 that give us 20. Then it means that total order for B is also 200. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So then if total order for B is 200, but the balance is not up to 200, then we have to allocate the 120 to him. Let's assume the balance is more than what is requesting for. You understand? Because it's also requesting for 180 to complete 200 now. But since our balance is 120, then we have to allocate the 120 to him. Is it clear? That's the remaining
Yes, sir.
component. So then we can cast. Since we don't have balance again, so this one become 400, the available. So this one become what? 30. This one become 140. This one become 30. And this one become what? 200.
200.
Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Can I move on?
Yes, sir.
So any
Yes.
question? Any question? Okay, ask your question, please.
Sir, the 120 for the remaining balance, how they were able to get it?
Out of
No, sir.
400, we have special order of 100. Then we allocate 180. We have out of 400, we have special order of 100. If you remove 100 from 400, remember 300. From that 300, we allocate 180 to D. Out of 300, you allocate 180. Remember what? If you remove 180 from 300, remember 120. So that's how we got the 120.
All right, sir.
Is it clear?
Thank you very much, sir.
Yes, sir, clear, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
then after getting this allocation, are we together?
Yes, sir, we are together, sir. We are together, sir.
Okay. After getting this allocation, let's now go to our requirement. Our requirement says determine the optimal production mix and the resulting profit for the period and in total in the coming month. So the optimal production mix now, we've already got our optimal production mix. Then the next thing is to calculate our whether there's a profit or loss. You need to calculate that, whether there's a profit or what, or loss. So our contribution now, for those of you that joined the first class, I think you understand what we are going to do next. But for those of you that are just joining, and the next thing is to use our word contribution. So what's our unit contribution? 360. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So after that, we now move to what's it called? We now use our word, our contribution per unit. So what's our contribution? 360 for
360,
A,
520, 300,
360, 520, 300. Uh-huh.
5.
Sorry.
520, okay. Then 540,
540, which is D, right?
yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
540, which is D. So after getting our what's it called? Contribution, then the next thing is to do what? We have to multiply it with the optimal production that we got. So let's multiply 30 times 360. What do you have? 30 times 360.
10,800.
10,000.
800.
Okay. 10,800. Okay. For B.
72,800.
72,800. For C.
9,000.
9,000. For D.
408,000.
For
108,000.
108,000. So who can remind us? What's the next thing? I want to know whether you are really following. What's the next thing? After getting your optima, then we multiply with the contribution. Then what's the next thing? Before we can get whether there's a profit or loss. What's the next thing?
You surpass the fees cost.
Fees cost, God bless you. We now calculate our what? Our fees cost. Are we together? Should we move on?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes. It's just like when you are removing your
Yes, sir.
fees cost, from your revenue so that we get your profit or loss. So your fees cost. If you go to the question, your fees cost is actually your what's it called? Total demand for A multiplied by the contribution. Multiplied by fees cost per unit, because they are giving all the fees cost per unit. This is the fees cost, this is the fees production cost. Then fees production cost of 180, selling and administration cost 145. The two are fees cost. If you look at this place, they said all the selling and administration costs are fees. So it means that not only fees production cost that is there, 180 and also 145, 240, 225. I think we've already compute that one here so that we can pick it straight away. Our fees cost for A, 325. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Then let's do our working notes separately so that we can get that. In case if you want to check it again. Fees cost. Fees cost for A. So what's the fees cost for A? Will be 325 multiply by what? 300. I think you know how I got my 300. 300 represent the components, the total demand for A, because 10% of it that give us the special order. So automatically it is 300. I've explained that one. So 300. What do you have as fixed cost here?
97,500.
500.
97,500. Then you bring it here. Fixed cost. You have to bracket the fixed cost because it's an expense. 97,500. Then we try for B as well. What do you have for B? Let's do the working note. B. What's the fixed cost for B?
465.
465. 465. Multiply by what?
200.
200. Because B, special order of B is 20. Then automatically 10% of the total demand I give us that 20. So it is 200. What do you have?
93,000.
93,000. Then we take that 93,000 here. We bracket it because it's an expense. 93,000. Then for C, for C,
270 times 300.
2 what?
270.
270. Multiply by what?
300.
300. So what do you have?
81,000.
81,000. So for D, let's do it once and for all so that I'll just pick it. For D,
485.
485. Multiply by what?
200.
200. What do you have?
97,000.
97,000.
90,
7,000.
97,000. So which one am I picking now? 81,000 and what? 97. 81. Then 97. 97. So what do you have for each line?
80. For A,
Is it profit or loss?
the first,
If it is loss, definitely to give you negative now.
yes, sir.
Is it loss?
Yeah, the A is lost.
How much is that?
86,700.
86,700.
700.
Okay. B is what?
We lost as well. 20,200.
I'm coming. So all loss. That should be in jacket. Okay. This one is also loss. How much?
20,200.
20,200. For C,
72,000.
loss as well.
Yes, sir.
Okay. For D,
Profit,
profit. Profit of how much?
11,000.
11,000. So then if you total it, What do you have?
167,900.
Profit or loss?
Loss.
167,900 as loss. One 167,900 as loss. I think it's cleared.
Yes, sir.
167,900. So that is what the requirements requirement A, Roman figure 1 is talking about. I think this is where we are going to stop because of, hope you can see my device. My battery is actually low. So any question, when next we meet, maybe on Saturday, we are going to continue from there. But I will also urge you to do question 1 and do it, just stop where I stop if you know you can't go more than this place. Then when we finish the question 4 completely, the other requirement, then you can also proceed if question 1 is also asking you the same thing. But if it doesn't ask you the same thing, then you can do it and stop whenever you understand it. Any question, please?
Can you push the slide a bit?
Hello?
No question, sir.
For now, no question, sir.